to InfoHub. In our headlines, government remains committed to giving the Guyana Police Force efficient crime-fighting tools. Digicel erects cell tower in Kumaka. Government seeks to bring relief to waste disposal companies. And Guyana hosted a booth at FIHAV 2017 in Cuba. Stay tuned for the details of these and more. And now for the details. President David Granger today said the government is committed to giving the Guyana Police Force the tools for efficient crime fighting. The head of state was speaking at a handing over ceremony of several motor vehicles, ATVs and motorcycles to the force from the government of the People's Republic of China. $2.6 million worth of communication, electrical and transportation equipment were handed over to the Guyana Police Force from the government of the People's Republic of China today. At the handing over ceremony, President David Granger noted that previously, limited assets prevented the GPF from performing its job efficiently.
The force's efficiency will be enhanced further through improved management, training, and the provision of more and improved equipment. Your government is committed to ensuring that the force is given the tools to do the work which it is required to do.
He said that it is important that the nation state be protected from all forms of criminal activities.
We need a well-trained Guyana Police Force in order to confront these threats to human safety and public security. Ladies and gentlemen, our country must be secured at the local and regional and national and transnational levels in order to prevent crime, in order to prevent interpersonal violence, in order to prevent our territory from being abused and misused. Our environment must be protected to ensure that our natural resources are not plundered by foreign persons who have entered our country illegally.
The acquisition and handing over of these and other assets, coupled with training for ranks of the police force, are in keeping with government's commitment to a 5-point security reform program. Among the equipment received are over 56 pickups, 44 motorcycles and 35 all-terrain vehicles. At a ministerial outreach held over the weekend, Minister of State Joseph Harmon told Maka residents that it is time for GCOM to move forward with its mandate now that a chairman has been appointed. Details from Alexis Rodney.
During an outreach on Sunday at the Moko Arcadia Primary School, Minister of State Joseph Harmon expressed that government will not be stymied by the continuous ramblings of the political opposition over the appointment of new GCOM chairman, retired Justice James Patterson. He said, however, now that the appointment has been made, the work of the commission must move forward.
We cannot be stymied in the work which the commission has to do by people who want to say not fit and proper and picketing and can't spell divide and all of that. We cannot be stymied in that way.
While the issue of the appointment of the chairman has been addressed repeatedly, Minister Harmon reiterated that President David Granger acted in accordance with the Constitution when he chose retired Justice Patterson as the new GCOM chairman.
The point is that the President acted in accordance with the Constitution and in accordance with the law. So he followed what the Constitution said, he followed the characteristics of this person, and he followed the ruling of the Chief Justice.
Referring to the recent demonstration by the opposition in Parliament last Thursday, Minister Harmon said government condemns in the strongest possible terms the action of the PPP and regrets the behavior of the opposition in the presence of the diplomatic community and other senior officers in Guyana.
They took our parliamentary democracy to the lowest level. No, never before have we actually seen a display and a demonstration like that. Never before have we seen that level of disrespect given to a head of state. Never. But what we have to understand is that this is the new tune that is being played under the PPP bandmaster.
Reporting for Info Hub, Alexis Rodney.
Kumaka residents will now receive dependable cellular phone and internet service following the commissioning of a Digicel tower in the community over the weekend. More from Crystal Stahl.
The cell tower was commissioned last Saturday in the community by Minister of Public Telecommunications Catherine Hughes and CEO of Digicel Gregory Dean. Kumaka residents have expressed that the tower is long overdue and will address communication issues facing the community.
This really is truly a blessing to Kumaka. For the years we have been on and off with signals, don't get in signals, and in case of emergency, no phone calls to get out to call the ambulance. And this really is a blessing to us, and we are grateful and thankful for this venture in Digicel.
There's a nice thing up here. You never used to get good signal first, you know. We used to have to they're going all about to get signal. But this here now is 100% better.
Echoing similar sentiments, Minister Hughes described the establishment of the cell tower as a remarkable occasion and a step in the right direction by Digicel. More importantly, the tower will now allow her ministry to carry out its work.
Now we can reasonably say that we are ready to work hand in hand with the residents of Kumaka and All England. And we are ready now to set up an ICT hub that will service your communities. An ICT hub that will provide, as I've said, we've done in other communities, free internet access. We will bring the computers in, we will make it available, we will provide the training that you will need.
Speaking on behalf of Digicel, Chief Executive Officer Gregory Dean noted that the company is pleased to be able to provide quality service to Kumaka and the surrounding communities. He added that the idea is to ensure that residents of the community receive the same quality of service anywhere else in the country. Crystal Stahl for InfoHub.
InfoHub's Stacey Carmichael now tells us that the Ministry of Communities is currently reviewing proposals by two of the country's main disposal companies in an effort to settle outstanding payments.
Minister of State Joseph Harmon, during last week's post-cabinet press conference, said following this assessment by the ministry, the proposals will be sent to cabinet for approval. The minister is assuring the two companies, Sevons and Puran Brothers, that government is cognizant that they provided services for which they have not been paid. Hence, steps are being taken to address the matter.
Throughout the process that was taking place, it was recognized that this was a matter to be dealt with by the Georgetown Mayor City Council. But we recognize now that there is a problem and that it makes no sense for us to just operate as if there's no problem. And so the Minister of Communities has been contacted, and we are looking at it and see how best we can bring relief. Because apart from the sums that are owed to these companies, there are a lot of employees who would have been laid off and so on as a result of them not being paid. And so we're looking at that very carefully to be able to bring some relief to the two companies.
In July, the two waste disposal companies withdrew the services from the MNCC after being owed in excess of $300 million for services rendered. The town clerk, Royston King, had issued a statement assuring that the issue of garbage collection in the city and surrounding areas will be dealt with interdepartmentally. For InfoHub, Stacey Carmichael.
The Guyana National Broadcasting Authority on Friday issued radio licenses to several broadcasting agencies for the period ending at 2016. The handing over ceremony was held at GNBA's office on Friday, and the recipients were the National Communications Network, the National Television Network Radio, Radio Guyana Incorporated, iRadio Incorporated, and Wireless Connections. According to the chairman of the National Broadcasting Board, Leslie Sobers, licensing for 2017 will be done in compliance with the new amendment of the Broadcasting Act, which came into law on September 7, 2017. Sobers said the new act has provisions that were not present before. For example, it will address the issue of zoning, which previously saw smaller broadcasters unfairly sidelined.
Those broadcasters in Georgetown who could have transmitted all the way to Berbice and the Essequibo Coast, while the small operator on the Essequibo Coast or in Berbice could have only sent his signals within his community or within that region, had to pay the same base fee as the more affluent and well-to-do broadcaster, while operating from a smaller economic base.
The amendment of the Act, Sober said, sought to correct that. He explained that at the primary level there is a base fee of $2.5 million for radio. At the secondary zone it is reduced by half, and for the tertiary zone that is also reduced by half.
So are we going to prorate from January to September and then under the old Act, and then from September to December under the new Act? Or we're just going to use one fee for 2017 and we start fresh from 2018. Those are the two considerations before the board, which we will decide upon at our next board meeting.
Sober is assured that the GNBA board will not violate any constitutional right nor curtail anyone's freedom of expression nor their freedom to receive or disseminate information. And in our final report, Guyana recently hosted a booth at the Havana International Fair FIHAV 2017 in Cuba. A CARICOM Day was also held as part of the fair on November 2. Gabriela Patram was there and filed this report.
It's CARICOM Day here at FIHAV 2017. Patrons are flocked at the Caribbean Pavilion to experience the taste, the culture, and also gather information from the respective countries here exhibiting at FIHAV 2017. There was much excitement at the Caribbean booths as patrons were eager to learn more about the countries and also sample the various foods and collect the tokens as well. Ambassadors from the various CARICOM countries were also in attendance and took the opportunity to interact with patrons. Suriname Minister of Trade, Industry and Tourism Ferdinand Waldron expressed enthusiasm in the hosting of the day and emphasized that the Caribbean region must remain united in the relationship with Cuba.
I think this is the next opportunity for Caribbean producers and Caribbean countries to stick together and to join in the beneficial of our nations. Once we as Caribbean countries can strengthen the relationship, the business relationship, the cultural relationships with each other, it will give the developed countries, it will not be easy walkover.
Also praising the initiative is St. Vincent and the Grenadines Ambassador to Cuba, Ambassador Ellsworth John. He noted that Cuba has been a friend to CARICOM for several years, assisting in the field of education and health, and that trade with the country would be a boost to the economies in the region.
Being able to export our goods to Cuba would also be a very positive thing. They have a population of 11 million persons. It's a big market. And being able to export to Cuba would be a big boost for the economies of all of our countries if we can get in here and compete with some of the larger countries that export to Cuba.
One of the major attractions of the day was the steel pan music emanating from the Guyana booth. Reporting from the CARICOM Pavilion here at FIHAV 2017 in Havana, Cuba, Gabriela Patram for InfoHub.
Thanks for watching. Remember to connect with us 24/7 on our website and social media. Goodbye. Daddy.